Is a significant part in many of our day-to-day lives, and we love to share our opinion on the latest happenings around the world and in our own country. This year, social media was abuzz with the ESCOM crisis, the Fees Must Fall campaign, xenophobia, and Oscar Pistorius, among many more news stories that captured our attention. Joining us now in studio today is the Managing Director of ROI Africa, or ROI Africa, Tonya Khoury, who will give us a wrap of this year's social media trending stories. So very good morning to you, Tonya.
Good morning, Elvis. Thank you for having me.
Why is it so important to reflect on what was trending during 2015?
I think it's it's important in many aspects, because some of the hashtags that trended this year definitely made an impact on the ground. So it wasn't just a conversation that was being had between us on our smart devices. It actually made an impact. Fees Must Fall was a very significant campaign. Roads Must Fall was another one. I see today that Roads Must Fall is even impacted in the UK. They're taking down the Cecil John Rhodes statues. So social media is such a powerful tool, and if you ignore it, it's definitely at your peril.
What does these trends tell us, though, what people are interested in?
People tend to latch onto one or two big stories over a month period, you know, so we tend to shift our attention to something that's close to home, something that makes an impact to us as people on the ground. We saw at the beginning of the year, I think we can see on the screen here, the SONA debate, and SONA 2015 made the biggest impact during January and February on our charts. And what was fascinating to watch was how different what played out on our TV screens was on our Twitter timelines. And that was quite significant. And then, of course, ESCOM has been trending almost all year, you know, so also quite interesting to see.
Yeah. Now, this was the SONA. Look at SONA. I mean, that's 73%, and all the others that was January and February.
That's right.
What happened after that month, March up until, say, maybe June? Was there another slide that you've got?
Yeah, so in March and April, we saw the onset of Roads Must Fall, which then resulted in this must fall trend that we've seen all year. You know, it hasn't stopped, and it's also made an international impact. So Roads Must Fall was the biggest story over March and April. Statues Must Fall overall, and then of course ESCOM stayed on the charts as well, making a big dent on our charts.
Was there any particular surprising topic that South Africans picked up, or were these sort of the major trends in terms of politics, or was it why not? Maybe I don't see anything relating to entertainment in the stats that you've got there.
It's very fascinating to see Oscar Pistorius turn up on the charts every time something happens in Oscar Pistorius's life. We've seen him dominate for almost 34 months on media monitoring charts, and to see that sort of longevity on any one story is fascinating. Xenophobia was a very big story as well. Say no to xenophobia, and how the people rallied behind that big say no comment, you know, that made, I think, 2/3 of our charts over a 2-month period. So that was very, very good to watch, and also to see Oscar Pistorius never ceases to amaze me, Elvis.
Yeah.
You know, why we are so fascinated with one man over a period of 34 months is just, I've never seen anything like it, and I still don't quite get why, you know.
I see. Also, a very big one was, of course, ESCOM, and that was truly because of all the blackouts that we had, hey?
And people were very cross. People were furious. And, you know, we tend to vent. Firstly, we feel protected behind our social media device, and we feel we can say whatever we like, you know. So people get really angry, they're really forthright, and they want action, and they want it now. And that's the power of social media, you know. So ESCOM took a beating earlier this year, for sure.
Is it a good thing to see our audience focusing on news stories that's actually trending, and not so much of the celebrity trends that we see?
I think South Africa we've got so much to talk about, you know, so news...
Are we complaining too much?
We do. We complain a lot. But we also turn to humor. Yes. You know, every time there's a crisis in our country, it's fascinating to see how South Africans turn. You'll see all these memes come through, and people are laughing and joking and making light of what should be very serious conversation. We've seen that happen time and time again.
Yes, May to June. Let's take a look at that.
So here we see Oscar Pistorius fully back on the charts, almost half of our conversation over that period. Bigger than FIFA Gate. So that just shows you the enormity of the Oscar Pistorius story. And that's not unusual for the Oscar Pistorius story at all. And it was just before this that we started, that Cecil the Lion came through. So it was fascinating to watch how the charts completely changed. There were a couple of lions on this chart. There was a missing lion. I don't know if you remember that story. And a woman was killed at the Lion Park. So that came through. But nothing beat Oscar and FIFA Gate. Another story that South Africans picked up, which is not a local story, was the Caitlyn Jenner story.
Yeah, I can see that at the bottom.
Yeah, we picked it up, but to such a small degree. It just shows you that we tend to focus on things that happen here at home. That's where our focus is.
Missing lion, 60.61%. What missing lion was that?
There was a lion that was let loose, or wasn't let loose, a lion that had escaped that people were trying to find, and you just couldn't find the lion for anything. It was actually on the charts for a 2-month period. And they eventually darted the lion, and the lion was safe. I don't know if you remember that story.
Now, in terms of news, will it stay the same in terms of the trends that we see, or more politically orientated, or will it move maybe to more celebrities or entertainment, that sort of thing?
Celebrities do often feature on the chart, like we've seen, but it's often for all the wrong reason. Like the death of Senzo was a very big story as well, and we've seen things like Star Wars. Star Wars makes big news and big social media news, and there's play on words and that sort of thing. So it really does depend what we're being fed by journalists for a start, and then we choose what we want to latch on to.
A big one happened this week. Steve Harvey, is he still trending?
Steve Harvey is definitely on the chart. People are saying it's the only reason why Miss Universe has any sort of trend on Twitter. So yeah, we saw Steve Harvey definitely coming to the charts over the past couple of days, not for the right reasons either.
Tonya Khoury, thank you so much for coming in and joining us here in studio.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
That was the Managing Director of Roy Africa, Tonya Khoury, who gave us a wrap of the top trending stories for 2015 and what we might see in 2016.